Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Core Racing Network, and I should say welcome back as we are back here for the Virtual Velocity Racing here on Thursday nights. We return to the Richmond Raceway for tonight's race. Little short track action here, 3/4 of a mile on this little smallly banked tri-oval here in Virginia, and it can put on some really good racing, but it is not the friendliest track to drivers. This thing can be just finicky, and especially turn number one. I feel like there's about 17 different ways you can attack turn number one, and even exiting turn number two, coming out of the corner there. Turn three, you pretty much you get what you get going in there. Typically the line's gonna be down there at the bottom, but you can run the middle and maybe dive it down to the bottom coming off the corner. But we're gonna see some pretty good action here. I'm happy to be back here in the booth. Carl Handwork joined by Jimmy Covert. Jimmy, we are back here Thursday nights for VVR for yet another race.
Yeah, I mean, I think time has slowed down or whatever. It seems like it's been forever since I've seen VVR, but definitely glad to see them back here, out here at the Richmond Raceway short track. But it's got some speed to it, Carl. Did get a chance to get out there and get some laps in. Kind of see where the fuel is sitting on a full tank, and how tricky it's going to be for these drivers. Obviously out there, I was watching them practice and watching drivers maybe trying to get back in the groove of things, pushing the car to the limits, driving into the wall, spinning up and after the corners. And I even seen some people practicing pit entry because it can be a little bit tricky here. So we'll see what things come about here. But we're almost done with qualifying, and right now, Dalton Kilroe on top with a provisional pole there with a 21.888.
Yeah, last season's winner for the championship, Dalton Kilroe on top of the board, but still looking for his first win. And we are on race number 5 here tonight, so 4 winners for the season. Taking a look back at the races, we had DJ Mitzel getting the win at the season opener at Daytona, and we had Robert Kahn getting the win, race number 2 at Auto Club. Race number 3 went to Robert Warnes. And then last week out, we seen Andrew Paleschi get the, well, not last week, but last race out, we seen Andrew Paleschi get the win at Atlanta in a pretty interesting race there at Atlanta for sure. But we'll see if we got our 5th different winner here tonight. We'll see if somebody can finally double it up. But taking a look at the season standings, on top of the boards is Andrew Paleschi by a mere 1 point over Robert Warnes in second. Dalton Kilroe, aforementioned, is in 3rd place. He is a huge 2 points behind Andrew Paleschi coming into tonight. Another 11 points back to Maxwell Caldwell, and another 5 points back to John Garrett's for your top 5 in the points. But we are done with tonight's session of qualifying. Jimmy, why don't you give us a rundown of that 24-car starting order?
Yeah, to run down the starting order here for tonight here at Richmond. Going to be Dalton Kilroe on the pole, with outside being Maxwell Caldwell in the number 94. Then you have Robert Kahn and Mike Hasty for row number 2. Andrew Paleschi and Gordon Larson for row number 3. Row number 4, John Garrett with Dennis Warnes. Row number 5, Len McNeese and Daniel Holloway. Row number 6 was going to be Brandon Meir and Cade Green. Row number 7, Tyler Hilton and Hemi Giardini. Row number 8 is going to be Todd Merkel with Corey Coe. And row number 9, Hilton Young with Chris Schuessler. And then we have the rest of the field back here with row number 10 with Brandon Paul with Robert Warnes. Michael Taylor and Michael Pratt will make up row number 11. And Brian Rainville and Mike Rideout for row number 24. So 24 drivers out here tonight. Hopefully nobody forgot that it was actually race night, as it's been a little time and everybody was on vacation. We'll help everybody is ready to go here, as this will start. We have a race this week and next week, and I think we might even get a small break.
We got 3 weeks in a row, as we got Richmond tonight. Next week we'll have Charlotte. Week after that we got Nashville before we have the week off, and then back to racing action. So a little bit of a spring break here in between Atlanta and Richmond. We had a month off, so these drivers getting to enjoy a little spring break here. I know some of them, as soon as the break started, were already itching to get back behind the wheel, and we were certainly itching to get back into the booth as well. But we're back at it here, and we'll have about 2 months worth of racing with I think only 2 breaks within those 2 months before we'll have the summer break as we head into the June month. But good sized field out here tonight. 24 cars getting ready to take the green flag, and we'll see what kind of action that they provide. As once again, Kilrow still looking for that first win on the season. He's had some good finishes, which is why he is up there in third in the points, but looking to try and get that 41 to the top step of the podium. But on that outside right there, the 94 is looking to do a little damage himself and try and get himself a second win on the season. And Robert Kahn, Mike Hasty, Andrew Palesci all looking to get up there as well. But thank you to everyone out there in CRN Nation tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. But we got 120 laps on tap here tonight. Pace car is going to be in this time by. We're going to get them fired off. Hopefully you're ready for some good racing. Hopefully these drivers are ready for some good green flag racing here under the lights. We are racing at Richmond Raceway.
And Barney waves that flag and then get going here. 2 wide, heading down into turn number 1. As you can see, back to the pack. It's going to be real tight racing here. You're going to see people down on the inside, down on the on the outside, and trying to catch them going around here. But out front is going to be Dalton Kilrow getting the initial lap led here over the number 94 Maxwell Caldwell. And so they're going to be trying to chase this number 41 hopefully all night, as we see Dalton have had his troubles in trying to make it through the field. But right here, obviously you see him trying to pull away. As you see some of the cars trying to get down the power, just getting loose just a little bit, and that can, not immediate troubles, but later on, you wear them tires down just a little bit too quick and you can end up falling back through the field.
Yeah, good start for the field here, as already on lap number 3. These laps are going to click by pretty quickly here. About 22 and a half seconds a lap as the 12. Well, I'm sorry, the 21. I'm not used to seeing the 12 on the side of that Altel painted car there, but the 21 there of Robert Kahn having a little bit of issues down the backstretch there. Tagged the wall. Looks like it's still pretty clean, and it's one thing about the short tracks. You don't necessarily need to keep the fenders on there. You certainly don't want to damage those wheels too much, or turning around these corners is not going to be fun, not going to be easy. But we do keep a green out there, and you see it's 24 cars is a decent enough size field. But when you get to these short tracks, you see just a couple laps in. I mean, we're only on lap number 5, and almost half the track is covered in those little dots on your track map over there in the top right-hand corner. But it's going to be, I think, pretty quick here, and really not too long until these leaders will end up catching to the back of the pack, and that's where things will get really, really interesting. And speaking of the back of the pack, you see Michael Pratt there for a second. Maybe not deciding to go all the way to the back of the pack here, starting 22nd place tonight. So we had some fellow competitors that decided not to qualify as well, or not put a time down. So he can't officially go last to first, but certainly going to try and do his Michael Pratt thing here tonight. But out front it is Dalton Kilrow, Maxwell Caldwell, Robert Kahn, Andrew Palesci, John Garrett for the top 5, and then Hasty, Larson, Meir, Holloway, and Green rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, definitely going to be a busy one here. The drivers, their laps are down in the 22-second time frame, trying to keep that up, and we're going to see that fall down, I think, here pretty quick. It's just when will those tires plateau? How many fast laps can they get? And so when they decide to come in, are they going to be able to make up some ground on some of these drivers? Because there is a certain time where, like, the tires, once they heat up and get worn in, they plateau, so they're really sticky there for a while. Get you about 15 to 20 laps, but it's knowing when and being able to execute, a good pit stop with some new tires and gain some ground on people. But we'll see how that all partakes here, as we have 120 laps here tonight. We got 9 laps in the books, starting here on lap number 10, as Dalton Kilrow still out in front over Maxwell Caldwell, Robert Kahn, Andrew Palesci, and John Garrett.
And plus, she's scraping the wall there a little bit on the front stretch. Allows Garrett to close in, but this is a track that is absolutely going to destroy those right side tires, not just the fronts, but the rears as well. And it's a track where, depending on how the strategy plays out, 2 tires can certainly be a viable option, because obviously the right front is going to get just destroyed through most of the corner, but then trying to get that power down coming out of the corners, especially coming out of number 2 right there. You've seen Todd Merkel coming out of 2. It's just hard to get that power down, and that's certainly not going to help the tire wear right there. What a great job there, whether he wanted to or not. But the 2 of Merkel straightens out the 9 of Corey Coe, 3 wide down the front stretch. We will keep this thing green, but just getting the power down with these cars as the track really flattens out is tough, and that's where you end up burning up that right rear tire as well. So we'll see how the tires handle, and you may see some guys run up through the field in the beginning of the race with some fast cars, but you'll see those veterans just kind of hanging out, and they don't mind getting passed by 2 or 3 or 4 cars, because they know in the long run they'll be able to get them right back.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what you need to do. You just gotta be patient. There's a lot of patience when it comes to short tracks. Every move on an oval is hundreds. So you just need to make sure you're consistent. You don't burn off your tires. You manage your fuel. And you can see King getting in the wall just a little bit. You don't want to do things like that. And that's little things like that might not be a big hurt right at the moment, but enough they just start adding up. So small mistakes go a long way, and you need to find yourself up here. But we got battles going on up here. See the 81 of Andrew Pileshi in the midst here, getting around a few cars here, moving up to P number 4. John Garrett's going to get around Mike Casey as well, as he's down that inside, but looking to make a double under Andrew Pileshi to take maybe P number 3 away. Or, excuse me, 4.
Oh, big bump into the wall from the 81 and 72 there. But Pileši's going to hold on to 4th place for the time being. Garrett slots back into 5th, and then Hasty back into 6th. Really, not too many big movers front and back right now. Obviously, Michael Pratt, one of them, up 7 positions right now, up into 15th place. Robert Warren's the biggest mover of the race. He's up 8 spots after starting back there in 20th. So a real good start for the 95, and we've seen plenty of him in the last couple of races here have a very fast number 95. On the way backwards is, another Warrens. It is Dennis Warrens, as he is slipped back 6 spots after starting up in 8th place. He's back to 14th, so the Warrens kind of swapping spots there. Hemi Gherardini slipping back just a little bit as well. He's back 5 spots, back to 19th. But other than that, it's been some good racing, but you already see that backstretch wall coming out of 2 is starting to claim some victims, and really, you can't even say that these tires are starting to wear in just yet. It's just drivers, kind of maybe testing out the limits and going certainly over the limits here a couple times.
Yeah, I know on a full tank of gas car, you're looking at about 107 laps, give or take, 1 or 2, but that's about what they can go on if the tanks are full. I believe they run 50%, so they're going to be just over that that 50 lap mark, so they're probably about halfway through their fuel stint, starting to think about when they want to pit and how they want to pit. As it does look like they would probably have to make 2 pit stops, so maybe trying to stretch it out to that 60 mark. You never know what the drivers are going to do, who's hanging back just a little bit to try to get that 1 less pit stop. Like I said, the pit stop can be a little tricky here. It is coming off of turn number 3. It is down low, so you gotta keep that car tight and down to the inside, and that speed, as the speed limit is only 40 miles an hour. So definitely need to be careful and not get any pit penalties, because that is one way to lose a lot of time or gain a lot of time, as we continuously say how important it is to have great pit stops at any race, any track. But right now, one having a great race right now, and out to over 1 second lead is that number 41 of Dalton Kilroe, Robert Kahn, and then number 21. We've seen him scrape the wall just a little bit, but kept it going straight. Finds himself still in P number 2, And then back to the number 94 of Maxwell Caldwell in third. Andrew Pileshi is in fourth. It has a mirror full of the number 66 of John Garrett. And Mike Hasty not going anywhere as well, sitting there in P number 6. Brandon Meir sneakily just hanging out there in number 33 in P7, and Gordon Larson in 00, not too far behind as well. And we're going to go back just a little bit, about almost 2 seconds back on the Kisses machine, number 26, Daniel Holloway, to find P number 9, and Tyler Hilton in 02 finds himself in 10th.
So far, so good for these drivers as they are about to complete 25 laps here of 120, and certainly right about that halfway mark through the first run of fuel here at the Richmond Raceway. And yeah, I think that the biggest thing is the track only 14 degrees of banking in the turns. So it's not a lot. It's certainly nowhere near the size of banking as some other tracks, but it's enough, and it's enough of a tight radius around these corners that when you come off that 14 degrees of banking, you think you're good onto the apron there to make it into pit lane, but it's almost kind of like an extra little turn to the left to get into pit lane. And we've seen more often than not drivers get a little bit too close and sometimes a little bit too friendly with those barrels at the end of pit lane. And you want to talk about ruining a race real quick. A penalty's bad, but when you're smashed into the barrels at the end of the pit road, it's certainly not fun either.
No, that's probably the worst feeling in the world. Is to hit the barrels on the entry. We're going to hop on board here with Mike Rideout in number 76, of course, Light, currently sitting in P20. Has some action in front of him as Hemi Gherardini, Corey Coe, and Brandon Paul battle it out side by side. So great battling back here. A little bit farther back in the pack, but everybody deserves their camera time, especially when some great battling's going on.
Yeah, and you take a look at that track map. These drivers right here are battling for the back half of the top 20 right now that we're riding on board with is in 20th. Not sure what happened to Hemi Gherardini. He shot straight to the left right there. Well, it looks like either way he collected it back up. He's right back there in 20th now behind Mike Rideout. But you look on the track map, the leaders are not that far behind. Hemi Gherardini there coming out of turns 3 and 4 there onto the tri-oval, and already Dalton Kilrow into turn number 3. So he's got his eyes already on the back half of this field, and lap cars could be coming into play pretty quickly. And he doesn't have that big of a lead. He's been leading since the beginning, but only 1.25 seconds into the lead right now. Has a big moment right there for the 38 of Hilton Young. He's got it gathered back up and going here. He's going to go a lap down, stays down there in the apron, and looks like he is going to stay out. I wasn't sure if he was going to come into the pits there and come off schedule, but he's keeping it down there, trying to stay out of all these drivers racing for position. But either way, a good start here. And Jimmy, I feel like we just started the race. We're a quarter of the way through this thing already. Yeah,
it doesn't take long. Laps are only 20 seconds apiece, and if they can muster a green flag race here at Richmond, that is a strong feat for all drivers, as it does take patience with that throttle and that braking, the braking points as the tires go down. But you see the 38 still having problems as the 00 Gordon Larson makes their way around, and that's Hilton Young just trying to gather up that machine here and keep it going. There's just some tracks, Carl, you get out there and you might be able to run pretty decent on good tires, new tires, but as soon as they start heating up and wearing down, the cars can be a handful. And it seems when you lose that rhythm, you can really fall back just a little bit. So Hilton Young, I think, just fallen victim to something of that nature, just having troubles here tonight at Richmond, as the lights are coming out here, as everything is on the cool side. Looking at the weather here, just pull it up real quick, and got 11 miles an hour to wind, so light winds, 70 degrees outside, and the track's at 78. So great temperatures to be out here racing tonight. Great temperatures return back on the track for the Virtual Velocity Racing Arca Series. And there was question if they were going to run the all brand new Arca car that came out, but they elected to stay with the now legendary Arca car for the time being until they make those changes, or if that's what they want to do later on in the season, or just run this one out and then maybe next season or year they will go ahead and bring in those new Arca cars that iRacing has introduced.
Yeah, and just to keep it up to real life is why iRacing came out with the new Arca cars, and those being the Chevy SS, the Ford Mustang, and the Toyota Camry, the Arca versions of that. And they're good-looking cars, and they obviously, as iRacing does, they make them look exactly like they do in real life. But I think it really came down to the handling part of it is why these guys, at least for now here at VVR, decided, let's just stick with the Old Faithful here. Let's run these for now, because from what I hear, the cars kind of handle like crap. To put it plainly, so they're going to stick with this. But the outside front of Michael Pratt's there, number 77, doesn't exactly look that good either. But again, still making his way up through the field, or at least trying to. He's up 6 positions right now, in 16th. But at the front, by only a second now, as Robert Kahn reeling him in, is Dalton Kilrow, as we're on lap number 40. So maybe, within the next 10 to 15 laps, we may start seeing some pit stops coming in here as Pratt goes to the inside there to make a pass. But you see the front end, the back end, everything looking good there on that 41. But the mirror maybe not looking so good, as this traffic is certainly slowing up Kilrow. Khan starting to reel him in. Already got our first taker in pit lane, the 66 of John Garrett.
Yeah, so one of the front runners bringing her down in to kind of get some service here a little earlier on. And these drivers coming in here, it's just going to show that they have one more pit stop under green in order to make it here. But this is the chance they take, kind of coming in the pits here early, Carl. They're gonna go a lap down, possibly 2, so they're gonna need everybody to do their thing and keep it green here, so these drivers aren't too far behind the 8 ball. But Garrett down the way, full fuel, I believe some tires, going to come back out here on the track, as Dalton Kilrow is coming down the front stretch right now. So almost 2 laps down for Garrett after a pit stop, and he was running up front.
Yeah, he was top 5 when he came in, so it just goes to show you how much time you're going to lose here, and how big a caution in the midst of these pit stops could really throw a wrench into things. But so far so good. They've kept it nice and clean here. We're a third of the way through this race. Kilrow has led from the rip. Still waiting to see the first round of pit stops kind of take place here. Garrett coming in a bit early. This is it's kind of weird. We mentioned about tire strategy, and possibly 2 tires, taking right side tires is an option here. There's certain tracks that you kind of on purpose get the car a little sideways every once in a while, and let's go ahead and hold that thought, as we've got caution on the speedway. Looks like Cade Green possibly mixed up in this one. Take a look and see exactly what happened here, the 19. And just getting loose going in, and then maybe lead me right into what I was about to talk about before. But this is right in the middle of pit stops. We have Andrew Pileshi, Robert Kahn, Mike Hasty in the pits, as well as Michael Pratt, Corey Coe. How is this going to play out? And then you got the drivers that already did come into the pits. So I would assume they're probably going to get a wave around, but certainly off strategy right now. Not what they wanted to see happen right here. You kind of, as soon as you are the first one to make it into pit lane, you need that thing to stay green. You don't want to caution until everything is all said and done when it comes to the pit cycle.
Yeah, and it's tough. You're trying to pull off a strategy for a certain situation. I mean, you've gone almost 50 laps, and nothing. So I mean, it seems good. All the drivers are hitting their marks, doing their thing. Just takes one person, make one slip up, one mistake, one a little bit too hard on the gas, and around they go. So that's not what Cade Green wanted, but pit stops are going to ensue here. Let's take us back live, going over to Dalton Kilrow as he's down in the pits here. along with Maxwell Caldwell and the rest of the gang. So the drivers that were still out, they're not too upset. The drivers that decided to come in or find themselves going to have to have some work to do. And hopefully their tires aren't too bad, as a lot of the drivers around them will now be on fresh tires and back out there. So tough break for some of those drivers back in the pack now, but they did have fast race cars, which is why they were up front. But they just have a challenge now of getting up there. So we're at lap 48 of 120, so plenty of racing still to go. Just under just over 70 laps. So like it's 72, 73 laps. So we'll probably return back with like 71 before we get going. But see some damage still on them cars. We've seen these. We talked about Michael Pratt. His front end there is that front right is taking some hits there by a few drivers. I think I've seen Todd Merkel as well. Let me switch the cameras real quick because I'm almost positive.
Yeah, kind of a little bit. Yep. You can see it right there.
So you
can supposed to see the front tire.
No front tire. But yeah, definitely a few drivers with their tire exposed. But not necessarily gonna, hurt them too bad. But it's not what you wanna have. Seeing if anybody else in the back is having an issue. Yeah, there's Corey. Cade looks good. I think everybody up front is good as far as I know. Oh, there it is. There's Daniel. We've got some damage. Slapping the wall.
What this is going to do now is every driver out there has been able to make their first pit stop, and everybody will essentially be on the same strategy in regards to how many pit stops they still need to make. Everyone will still need to make one pit stop, but what do? Do you run this thing out of fuel? Do you, expect that maybe another caution is going to come out and it's better off just staying out there and waiting for a caution to come out and driving this thing out for another 50 laps? Or do you split this thing up in half and come in around lap 85? I mean, to me, speed-wise and tire-wise, that's the best strategy. That's going to be the fastest strategy, because you're going to have fresh tires again on lap 85 and be able to really put down some good laps where others are still out there for another 15-20 laps before they come in for their tires. But you get a caution at all, and once again, you're screwed, and you're kind of behind the 8 ball. But we are back underway, and we'll see what these drivers decide to do in the second half of the race, as we're getting close to that halfway point. But Kilroe, Caldwell, Larson, Robert Warnes, and Hilton for your top 5.
An incident.
And looked like the 98 there trying to sneak by on the inside, but the 72 of Hasty was just drifting back a little bit too much there. Another caution on the track. We'll see what brought it out here. Looks like Hasty getting into the right or the left rear of Hilton Young.
Yeah, and I think that was for checkup for, you see the 23 there down low. So we'll go ahead and reverse this just a little bit here, kind of see what they see up in front of them. We'll go look on. You can see somebody checking up just a little bit. I want to say that is I don't know who that is at the moment.
It looks like it was a 23 of Brandon Paul getting a bit loose.
Position check. I thought it was.
It was a 23 in 21st position right now of Brandon Paul that got loose.
There we go. Yep, there we go. Just trying to see what happened to him.
Yeah, I think it was just maybe some cold tires. Not sure if he got into the outside wall there before it sent him down to the inside, but certainly the restart here, cold tires. These drivers haven't had a start since 50 laps ago, so it just takes a little bit of knowledge that these tires aren't going to be that warm just yet, and a hard impact there you see for the 38 and the inside wall.
Yeah, Mike.
And he's certainly going to need to get a little bit of that repaired, I believe. Mike Hasty getting spun around a little bit sideways, but it looks like he for the most part kept it clean. I don't think too much happened here, but then right here drifting across the tracks, trying to stay out of everybody's way, but didn't realize that the 98 Michael Taylor was trying to still work his way by and hard impacted the inside wall for that 98 as he gets involved. You see the 60 back there, Brian Rainville. Maybe back far enough that nothing happened to him, but either way, he's sideways, and we'll get these cars back going. Still, I think plenty early that I don't think these drivers can make it from here on fuel.
No.
I think it's a bit of a stretch looking to try and get about 65 laps. I think that's a little bit too much saving.
They would want some more. They would want some more cautions for sure. But we always say cautions breed cautions, and obviously we had one, and now another one. So we're gonna put everybody back up. We're getting close to that halfway mark, but still plenty of racing to go, and everybody's gonna want to try to make their moves down and try to get up there and run as fast and as high as possible here at that halfway mark. But lights are off on the pace car, going down the back stretch, entering turn number 3 right now, getting ready to go back to green.
And certainly keep an eye on that car in 4th place, the second one on the outside line, the 95 of Robert Warrens. He is up 16 spots, started back there in 20th, looking for the front, but right now the man at the front, Dalton Kilrow, back on the loud pedal, and we're racing again here at Richmond. Looks like the 94 of Caldwell is just going to clear the 00 of Gordon Larson for 2nd place, but then for 3rd place, and then Robert Warrens sliding into 4th, but see battles going through the field here, still 2 by 2. Look at maybe a peak there by the 33 to go 3 wide, but some good racing here, and hopefully these drivers now realize it's going to take a couple laps to get the tires warmed up, but I think a little netco got involved right there with the 33, and I believe that was the 76.
I think I raised and got that one wrong.
It was down towards the bottom and got back going right away, but it's iRacing is funky. I mean, there's times where it makes clear sense there's a caution and there's nothing, and then there's other times where it's like, really? I mean, the car got like 10% out of shape, and that's a caution. So that was a close one right there, but let's take a look at it here one more time. And it looked like the 33 out of turn number 2 was on the inside of the 76, but I don't think he got into him. I think it was a little bit of netcoat. Maybe the 76 was a little bit loose as well. You see, certainly very close, but I think just almost like a little arrow hook right there from the 33 sends the 76 of right out down the inside. Take it back live here as Merkel looking to the inside here of Pratt, trying to take away 12th position. As up here at the front, it is Dalton Kilrow now catching up to Rideout, who comes back out of the pits with a fresh Coors Light. No pun intended.
You might need a Coors Light.
No pun intended on that one. Well, Kilrow is going to make the pass and put Rideout another lap down here, but we are past the halfway point now. Once again, I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe and get you in touch with everything that Searing has to offer. Also want to thank our series sponsors, that being Goldline Guardians, Fort Worth Screen Printing, and Hilton Crafts and Designs for everything that they do to help put this series on.
Every series, it's great to have some awesome sponsors, and these sponsors, they were here last season and they're back again this season. So, ingrained pretty good here at the Virtual Velocity Racing, and supporting all these drivers that come out here, and it means a lot. And it also means a lot that all the viewers are out there having a good time watching. So, if you got a favorite driver and you haven't seen them in a little while, because I haven't made my rounds to them, throw it up in the chat. Seeing Brian Rainville out there said it was me. So we did see him. We did catch Brian go around, but back in the back checking things up. But right now we're on lap 65 of 120, so over the halfway mark. So on the downslope. But Dalton Kilroe still out front over Maxwell Caldwell. Robert Warrens now sits in P number 3. Gordon Larson, Andrew Fleshy, Tyler Hilton, Robert Kahn, Dennis Warrens, John Garrett, and Mike Hasty for your top 10.
Yeah, I think it's been it's been a month since we got to see these drivers out here, the Virtual Velocity Racing Arca series. It's also been a month since we've been able to crank them up, and Jimmy, I think it's about time we give everyone out there in CRN Nation a little VVR. Love to hear it.
Love to hear it. And the sights and sounds here at Richmond with the VVR here in these now legacy Arca cars. And the man on a mission, on the move, biggest mover up into P number 2 would be the number 95 of Robert Warrens. Does he have enough time to track down Dalton Kilrow? One pit stop in the calculation I would believe still remains here. So he's going to need to execute a great pit stop and hopefully be able to catch that number 41. But only at 1.4 seconds is separating those two cars at this time. But back for the rest of the pack here, we'll cover the top 10. Got Maxwell Caldwell in P number 3, Andrew Pilesch's in 4th, Robert Kahn in 5th, Gordon Larson's in 6th, Tyler Hilton in 7th, John Garrett's in 8th, Mike Hasty's in 9th, and Dennis Warrens rounds out your top 10.
Your other big mover that we typically talk about, Michael Pratt, is up there in 13th spot, 9 spots up, but nobody's making the moves like the number 95 of Robert Warrens. But now the moves are to pit lane, as we already got a couple takers and maybe some drivers listening to me here coming in on around 85, 86. And splitting this drive in half here. Todd Merkel in the pits, Michael Pratt, Andrew Pileschi all in pit lane here. Some early pit stops here, trying to shake things up with some short pitting and getting back out there and getting back to the action. Robert Warrens is definitely on a bit of a heater, trying to run down your leader, Dalton Kilrow, who is looking for his first win on the season. Robert Warrens winning back 2 races ago at Las Vegas. But I want to take some time and take a look at last season. Granted, last season they ran the Cup cars, so certainly a different style of car, different different handling and everything like that. But you get an idea of how drivers are at particular tracks. And although VDR didn't run Richmond last season, another track that they did run, which is kind of similar in size and banking, is Iowa Speedway. And surprise, surprise, Dalton Kilrow won at Iowa Speedway and led 62 of the 150 laps there, had the fastest lap of the race, led the most laps. So you kind of get a feel that he was going to be something special here tonight, and doing quite that, as he's led a majority of this race here. And really, I think maybe the only lap or two that he didn't lead, if there was any, was under the little pit cycle right there that took place. But other than that, he's been pretty dominant and doing a good job right now, leading by 1.4 seconds still over Robert Warrens in second. And looks like Warrens, I was going to say Warrens is dropping off the pace a little bit, so I'm sure he's coming in, and that's exactly what he's doing. So the 95 into the pits is going to give Caldwell back to second. But we'll see these other guys, I think, coming in within the next 5 to 10 laps here to complete this pit cycle, and we'll get us close to about 20 laps to go once everything is all done and shaken out here. But right now, everyone trying to catch the number 41.
And John Garrett gonna try this again, come in again a little bit early. Last time this happened, they had the caution fly here at Richmond, so, and he's done a decent job. He was sitting up there in P number 6, I think it was, before coming down. So 66 was able to bounce back after that caution and beat in the pits. So or just leaving the pits, I should say. But right now it is still Dalton Kilrow out front, the man that we need to continue to watch and maybe trying to stretch it out here, obviously. And he is very self-aware that drivers are going to go at least a lap down, if not more. It could be 2, depending on how far back they are. But he's going to try to stretch his tank out just a little bit, and then hopefully his newer tires will allow him to stay out front. We can see John Garrett just coming out in front of the number 41 down there on the bottom side. So John's going to stay only 1 lap down. I'll go ahead and bring up the tower here so you can see where everybody is at, and you can see when they're pitting. Matter of fact, I can probably add that too. We'll go ahead and put the pit lap on there. Oops, not pit time, pit lap.
Yeah, and really, I think the way this is playing out is not surprising at all. You got the leader kill row that's out there trying to stretch this thing out as long as possible. He knows what happened last time the pit cycle started. There was a caution, and he knows that towards the end of a run, the tires are going to get a little angry, and then same thing when you first come out of the pits, the tires are going to be nice and cold, and they both are a recipe for disaster if the drivers aren't ready for it. So I don't blame him for staying out here and trying to run this thing out as far as possible. He's clearly got the speed, and if somebody were to short pit him and get that advantage of him when it comes to the pit cycle, he should have enough fresh tire to run them down and make the pass. But then for everybody else, they need to figure out something to try and combat the speed of the 41 tonight. And it's the pit entry that could potentially cost him quite a bit of time here. But everyone else taken to the short pit, or at least majority of the field taken to a short pit here to try and get in there and get those fresh tires and gain some time essentially off the track by coming in early here and getting the fresh tires out there to put some hot laps down. But Maxwell Caldwell is still out there, and looks like he is going to bring the 94 in this time by Daniel Holloway. Still has yet to come in for his second pit stop, as is Chris Schuessler in the number 61. Should see them in the next couple laps here, and that will end up completing our pit cycle for tonight. Looks like Brandon Paul back there in 15th would also need to come into the pits, but you're seeing everybody come back to the lead lap now. It's starting to get a lot more drivers up towards the front here. Question is, does anybody take the risk? It's pretty far distance yet, Jimmy. It's going to be more than 20 laps that they'd have to do it, but does anybody try 2 tires?
Maybe. I didn't get a chance to attempt any tire strategies when I got the testing today. I was just trying to get some laps in, as short tracks usually can be challenging for me. So I was out there having some fun, just doing some laps. So not sure on the tire strategy. I mean, it's obviously an option for some of these drivers, maybe because with the amount of laps remaining, it's a valued option. Right now, I see Daniel Holloway finally coming in, but looking up out front here, Andrew Pileshi.
Yeah, this is your leader. This is your leader, and he is good to go. And he pulled the strategy that I mentioned before. Yeah. If you're thinking that this thing is going to go green, you pit around to lap 85, you split that thing up right in half, and you go to the end, and you should have the faster tires, while all these other drivers are kind of waiting out those older tires. And he has gained himself the lead. He's got a 4-second lead right now over Robert Warrens, who pit 5 laps after him. But you're looking down the order to Dalton Kilbrough back in 5th place right now, pit on lap number 97, so 12 lap newer tires than Andrew Pileshi. But does he have the time to run him down? I mean, he is 6.3 seconds behind right now. Fastest car on the track, but he's got to get through traffic as well. I mean, obviously, knock on wood, if a caution were to come out, that certainly puts everything back into play. But right now, Pileshi has got a 3.8 second lead. It's starting to shrink a little bit. Robert Warrens eating into that time. Maxwell Caldwell hanging right there with Robert Warrens as they try to run down that 81. But Pileshi has got the track position. Does he have enough tire to run those guys out of tires and then just basically hold them off until the end?
I mean, we know Pileshi's a great driver, obviously, with a good amount of wins here at VVR. So he pulled off the pit strategy that everybody wants to do. Now he's just got to hold on to it here as he's the lead slowly dwindling as Warren's starting to catch up to him just a little bit now, under that 3 seconds. So what Pileshi does not want to happen is the infamous yellow flag with only a couple laps remaining. But maybe at that point, maybe the tires are that these drivers are out here on now are equalized just a little bit. But he should still be a little bit slower since he's been out here longer. He's been out there since lap 85, and some of these drivers are lap 98 for Caldwell. So definitely a big difference, and would imagine that Caldwell is licking his chops as he still has 14 laps to catch him and pass him here at Richmond.
Well, what he's seeing, what Peleshi's seeing in his mirror is exactly what he wants to see, and that's Robert Warrens and Maxwell Caldwell mixing it up. And it took a lap and a half, 2 laps for Caldwell to get around Robert Warrens there to take over second place. So that certainly ate up some of the time, and now it's still 3.2 seconds with 13 laps to go. It's still a pretty good size margin, but the 81 is coming up on a little bit of lap traffic. He's got about 3 cars that stand between him and most likely the end of this race. It should be the only 3 that he'll end up having to catch up to and pass. But it's really the mirror that he's going to be driving here. 3-second lead right now. Again, Caldwell has 13 lap newer tires than Peleschi, but he's only got 2 of them, Jimmy. He's got 2 right side tires. That is why he is up there into second place. Clearly, he feels that those 2 tires are going to help him rotate around these corners a little bit better, and doing exactly that right now. You still don't see him a big bobble there by, I believe that was the 28 possibly in the background there.
Yeah.
Did save it, but right now it is still Peleschi by 2.7 seconds.
Yeah, good catch there by the number 26 Kisses machine. There, Daniel Holloway almost losing it there right in front of Maxwell Caldwell. Could have spelled disaster for a few drivers, and definitely for Andrew Peleschi allowing these drivers to catch up, because now Dalton Kilrow moving into P number 3, going down to the inside. Oh, and the 95 hits the 26. And that's going to bring out the caution.
Caution, under 10 to go, and Andrew Peleschi has got to be cursing to the skies right now. That is not what he wanted to see. It looked like, by all intents and purposes, he was going to be able to hold off the charge here, and you see right here, Kilrow dives down to the inside. Wasn't sure what the 26 of Holloway was doing, so he dove down to the inside, and then Robert Warrens, not sure if he just didn't realize the closing speed there, trying to get up there and still battle with Kilrow, but gets into the back of the 26, sends him around, and that is going to bring out a late race caution. It's not going to be a green-white checkered, I don't think, but it's going to be late enough that this is going to be a little bit more difficult now for Peleschi. And how about this? Maxwell Caldwell into pit lane.
Yeah, definitely not what he wanted to do, but maybe feels that it's the right move, as there's 13 cars still on the lead lap. Maybe he has another set of tires in there, and we're going to see if that car goes up. Yes, it does. So it looks like lefts are going up for sure.
He still had a set of lefts in there since he only took the 2 right side tires, but that still kind of surprises me. I know he may not have felt like he had a chance to battle with Kilrow there with only those 2 right side tires, but he certainly, I think, had enough to battle with Peleschi, and maybe just the 2 of them battling would have been enough to hold off Kilrow for this win. But now it's going to be Kilrow starting alongside Peleschi on that front row. Robert Warrens, Robert Kahn in the second row. Tyler Hilton, Mike Hasty, Dennis Warrens, Gordon Larson, Brandon Meir, and John Garrett for the top 10. Maxwell Caldwell is going to slot in 11th place here after that pit stop. So he's got 10 cars that he's going to have to pass to get up through there. Actually, it looks like kind of bouncing around between 10th and 11th, but I believe he is going to be in 11th place. But we're going to have less than 5 laps to go. Pace car lights are still on. Should be going out this time by, and it should be 4 laps to go when this thing goes back green, and I can't guarantee it's going to stay green all the way to the end. I think you're going to have some drivers really going after it here, and you never know. Peleschi may still have a chance at this win if some late cautions still come out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance. I mean, Andrew does have the talent to try to fend them off and, you know, cover the lines to make things very difficult, and you know, but 41, last year's champion, looking to get that first win of the season, you know, especially after the long break, and come out here and run such a great race, dominant race here at Richmond. Really looking to try to jump out here, but Andrew Peleschi, it looks like he's going to take the outside on this one. Lights are off in the pace car. They're working their way down the backstretch. So it's just mere seconds here before they're going to get back on the that gas pedal.
Shout out to DJ Mitzel and Tim Lee out there watching this one. Unfortunately, not out there on the track with these boys. But how about the decision here for the 81 choosing the outside line here for the restart? He is the control car. He's back on the loud pedal, and we are back to racing here at Richmond. I don't necessarily blame him because for some reason the inside line here on the restarts at Richmond can get a bit hairy on cold tires. He's able to clear the 41. Down the backstretch they come. He's got a small little gap, but that's not big enough. He's probably hoping for some cautions now. As much as he didn't want him before, he probably wouldn't mind seeing him right now. Back to the line here, 3 laps to go. The 41 is all over the backside of Paleshi.
41 now looking to the outside, going to try the long way around. And not a bad move. Oh, and this slide there by the 81. That's might hurt him just a little bit, but they go down to turn number 3, side by side. Andrew down on the inside. Kilroe got a nose out front, running high. He's got the lead right now, looking to secure it, just trying to maybe. Oh, they're doing it together.
Into the corner.
Dude, the 41 goes to the wall.
Into the wall.
And it's still green.
It's going to stay green. He's kept that thing straight. Paleshi ends up maybe getting some damage here as well. And how about this? Robert Kahn, now your leader. White flag, 1 more to go. Robert v. Robert here. Kahn in the lead. Warren's in second. Who is going to get this thing done? The white flag is out. Looks like Todd Merkel having some issues on the front stretch. Gets back going here. Race back to the line. Warren's tries to get to the back bumper here of the 21. It's not going to happen. Robert Kahn, your winner here at Richmond Raceway.
Yeah, Robert Kahn pulls away the win here over Robert Warren's. Mike Hasty fending off Gordon Larson and Andrew Paleshi for your top 5. Tyler Hilton finishes in 6th. Maxwell Caldwell in 7th. Dennis Warren's in 8th. Len McNeese in 9th. John Garrett will be your top 10. Then you have Brandon Meir, Michael Pratt, Dalton Kilroe, Daniel Holloway, Mike Rideout, Todd Merkel, Chris Schuessler, Brandon Paul, Mike Taylor, Hilton Young, Cade Green, Hemi Gardini, Corey Coe, and Brian Rainville for your field. So tough break for the 41 and the 84 to get mixed up there at 81 to get mixed up, but the 21 of Robert Kahn will take another one here at Richmond.
So we will have a repeat winner as Robert Kahn winning at Auto Club in race number 2. He's going to take it down here at Richmond Raceway to get his 2nd win of the season. And man, we've seen this before. We've seen last season Robert Kahn have some pace. Was able to get a win or 2 last season, but wasn't able to run a full schedule. And same thing here. This was his 4th race out of 5. So he came in here in a 13th into points. It's certainly going to help him out on points, and hopefully we'll get to see that 21 out there with a little bit more of a full schedule this season to see if we can take it to him, because he did here again. And Jimmy, 5 races into the season, 3 of them won by Robert.
Yeah,
as
definitely.
we got Robert Warrens with 1 of them, Robert Kahn with 2 of them. I guess it's the name to be right now.
I mean, you know, if your name's Robert, I mean, you maybe got a win in the season somewhere there, but 21 pulls away the winner here tonight over the 95 and the 72.
Heck of a run there to the end, and it was a shame to see the 81 and 41 get together there at the end. Paleshi just driving it in hard and deep there into turn number 1 and washing up the track, gets into the back bumper of the 41 of Dalton Kilroe and gets him up into the wall. Kilroe ends up falling back to 13th position and again is denied a win here on the season. Last season's champion, still looking for that first win on the season, but this was a heck of a run all the way to the end, and maybe an unlikely win there for Robert Kahn. We were kind of looking at Andrew Paleshi, we were looking at Dalton Kilroe, we were looking at Robert Warrens, and even looking at Maxwell Caldwell, who was able to get back up to 7th place after making that late pit stop under the caution. But we're really looking at the 21 Robert Kahn. He ends up pulling it off here tonight. So we'll get these guys in here for their interviews here in a second. But once again, want to send a shout out to everyone out there watching. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. Thank you again to Goldline Guardians, Fort Worth Screen Printing, and Hilton Crafts and Designs for the sponsorship. As we take a look at the last lap incident here once again, and you see just entering a little bit high there is the 81, trying to get as much of a run as possible, gets into the 41, and that's about all she wrote for both drivers. Is to see the 81 kind of sliding up the track here a little bit as well, and he ended up sliding back to 5th.
Yeah, I mean, obviously being aggressive for the end, and that's not the way you usually see, these two end a race. But obviously, heartbreaking for the 41, as definitely a very dominant car throughout the evening. Most laps led, and was out front for a big part of tonight's race. So I feel for the 41, but plenty of races left remaining here, as we're only a couple weeks in, so definitely have, I believe, 17 more races remaining. So the 41 will have their chance to come back and they grab some more victories. But we're going to talk about Robert Kahn and talk to him shortly, along with Robert Warrens and Mike Hasties. And you see Mike Hasties back there in P number 3. This is the end here. I'll play this full speed, as you can see he held on to this is the last lap here for the 72. Very hands full trying to block the 81 and the 00 here at the end. So good job there for on the 72 of Mike. He's had some troubles in the past, and even had hit the wall a little early on and found himself back just a little bit. But this time here, gets on the podium, that number 72.
Yeah, and good job for these drivers too for not bringing out another caution, not bringing this down to a green-white checkered, as we did go green from the 4 laps to go there. But let's go ahead and start talking to our top 3 here. And first one, Jimmy, we'll bring him in here for you. It's going to be the 3rd place finisher, the 72 of Mike Hasty.
Hey, Mike, Jimmy and Carl up in the booth. How you doing tonight?
It sure is. How you guys doing?
Not too bad. You definitely had your hands full there at the end, but you walk away on the podium here tonight with that number 72. Give us a little rundown how your race was and how things unfolded, for you to find yourself up here on the podium.
Well, absolutely. First thing I want to say is it's good to have a podium. Last 2 seasons I've been close a bunch of times, but haven't quite gotten here. So nice to get an interview. So. I don't know. I had a pretty strong car, I guess. Started 4th. For me here, you try to be patient. People here run really good in this league. I really like it a lot. And but you get into a couple of heated battles and bumping and banging a little bit. But other than that, just trying to run a nice, smooth, clean race and stay out of trouble as much as possible. I mostly did that. I had one little issue, so it is what it is. And I got hung up on that first caution. I went into pit road. Just as I was crossing the line to pit road, the caution came out. So I ended up at the end of the lead lap, and from there on, it was just all catch up.
Yeah, it's nothing like going out there. You execute your pit stop the way you're supposed to, and one of your league mates kind of lose it just a little bit, and you find yourself in a catch-up situation. But you held it together. You kept your cool, and you're able to manage to hold off a few of those competitors there coming down to the finish line. I mean, you had the 00 back there and the 81 as well, trying to get back around, but you were able to hold them off. Yeah, and
they were some fire breathing. Yeah, they were some fire breathing dragons for sure. They were all on me going into 3 there on that last lap. So
it's almost like you could tell that you're kind of like watching your mirror and you weren't sure which way to go. Like, who's going to get the run and who can I take it away from?
Actually was in the chat with Gordon, and I was telling him, he was underneath me a little bit, got a great run, but I also had Andrew do my outside. I couldn't bail, and also if I, get in deep enough, I'm probably not going to make the corner. I barely made it, just good enough, just barely, and that's all that counts. Sometimes, you got to be lucky.
A little bit of luck goes a long way, and maybe a little bit here tonight. You find yourself on the podium for a 3rd place finish. So we want to say congratulations from us up here in the booth and everybody else out there, and also give you a little time for any shout outs you might have in that number 72.
I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm really happy to finally get an interview up here with you guys. It's a great league, so to be able to get a top three in here in itself is a pretty good accomplishment. Want to say thanks to Tim Lee for doing the league, for you guys to doing the broadcasts. They're always awesome. We don't really have a team, but was in chat with Hemi and with Gordon and Brandon Meyer. Those guys are we're kind of like just not a real team, but a team, So so it's good to get together with those guys and sit and talk on a Thursday night. So I want to thank those guys. It's always good, makes it exciting.
That's awesome. And I appreciate the shout outs to everybody out there. And as well, again, congratulations on that third place finish. And we'll let you go celebrate with them friends and family.
I appreciate it. Hopefully it's not my last one.
Well, hopefully see you again.
All right. Take care, guys.
Later.
That is your third place finisher here tonight, the 72 of Mike Hasty. Coming home in second place is going to be the 95 of Robert Warnes. And Robert, it looked like you had a heck of a car out there tonight. You started back there in P20th. I guess we'll start there. Was that by design? Did you mess up on qualifying? Did you decide not to qualify? What was the case you started back there in P20?
Yeah, I decided to kind of like scuff in my tires for the first lap and bring some heat into them. And then as I did that, I was coming out of 4 to give her the juice for the second lap, and I touched the wall pretty hard. And I wasn't able to get it woed up in time before I crossed the start-finish line. I was like, well, GG, I guess I'm starting in the back. It was not my plan tonight whatsoever.
Well, you certainly had a fast number 95 out there. You were able to get your way all the way up to second and kind of hang there before the first caution came out. And really, I guess it kind of all turned right there at the end with the second caution, the late caution there. And really the pit stops kind of got it really mixed up there. And I was surprised to see the 94 there of Maxwell Caldwell get the better of you with 2 tires. I know that the tires are a little bit fresher than yours, but did that surprise you as well?
Definitely did, actually. When I came out of the pits, I think it was the first lap, I had actually almost looped it. And I did everything I could woe it up because I was behind, the 81 car? And I was about 2 seconds behind. After that, I had almost dropped to like 4.5, 5 seconds. So I might have jeopardized my tires right there, but I was also trying a different brake bias, but Caldwell's a good driver, and once he got a good enough run, I just had to move over. And same with Kilroe as well, is that he had substantially better tires too. I would have been happy to finish 4th there, but I'm not really sure what happened in front with the lap car Holloway, because it looked like he was staying high, and then he darted low, and then he went high, and then by the time it was for me to tap the brakes, he was pretty much across my nose, so just unfortunate for that.
So it's been a little bit of an up and down season for you. You finished outside the top 10 at Daytona and at Atlanta, but you have the win at Vegas and the win at Auto Club. Yeah, no, I was right. Yeah, the win at Vegas and the top 3 there at Auto Club, and you get another top 3 here tonight. So do you feel like maybe the roller coaster will finally start to settle down and you'll get these consistent top 5s, or are there some other tracks you're looking to try and grab a second win here in the season?
I mean, I'd love a second win, but in all honesty, there's a good group of competitive drivers here, and starting where I started tonight, I was just very lucky and fortunate to get up front. My plan going forward is really to just work on some qualifying, because that really hurt my feelings today. I'm hoping the roller coaster settles down, but these guys they put on some dang good driving, and it's going to be very hard to pull off a win, but we got some short tracks coming up. I'll be up front for sure. So I don't know. I like screaming, I guess, in a roller coaster.
So let's be honest here. Was it that you had to start from 20th that bugged you, or was it the fact that Dennis was up there inside the top 10 for the qualifying?
I guess a little bit of both, right? Like, I was hoping Dennis had a good finish tonight, and I love running with my brother, and it's a big thing for us to get here and to do that, and VVR gives us a good platform. So, I don't like letting them win either. So, you're damn right I'm going to burn off my tires just to get around them for sure. And if I have to give him the bumper, I mean, that's love, So
exactly.
whatever.
It's what you got to put him in his place sometimes. Well, either way, you both grab a top 10 here tonight. You grab yourself another podium here. So congrats on the finish. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, no, definitely a big shout out to my brother, Dennis. I love doing this stuff with them. Shout out to you guys for putting on a hell of a broadcast. I really enjoy what CRN does, and shout out to the entire league, the drivers, the admins. I've thoroughly enjoyed racing here. I know that we took a little bit of a break, but you know what? I've never been in a league that took that length of break, and it was actually pretty refreshing, right? Like you get to break up some of the monotony of the repetition of every Thursday night. I'm committed to something. You get to spend some time with your family, your friends, and then all of a sudden you're refreshed, and you think about the roller coaster that I've been on, is that I can step away from that roller coaster, rebalance my thoughts and my emotions, and give you a good finish like I did tonight.
Well, it was certainly an interesting finish for sure, and it looked like at the end there, maybe you still had a slight chance to win, but you get yourself another podium here, another second place here on the season, so good points tonight. We'll let you go celebrate this one, and maybe we'll be talking to you again next week.
Heck yeah. Enjoy your night, brothers.
You guys too. That is your second place finisher here tonight, the 95 of Robert Warnes. Finally, we will talk to our winner here tonight, and that's going to be the 21 of Robert Kahn.
Hey, Robert, it's Jimmy Carlton, the booth. You copy?
Yeah, man. How are you guys?
And not too bad. You find yourself in a position that you've been here before already this season, finishing the race in the number one spot. You had an interesting race. If I'm not mistaken, you had an incident early, kind of set you back just a little bit, but able to fight your way back. And basically in that catbird seed as the top two in front of you were duking it out. And no caution flew, and you're able to just cruise on to a victory here. But and that's what we've seen on our side. But we want to hear from the horse's mouth. We want to hear how your race was, and if anything you could have done a little bit different, because it did look like that 41 Dalton Kilroe was running away with this thing.
Yeah, if you in the middle of the race, if you would ask me how my luck is, I would I probably couldn't say it on the air because I went in the pit on the first pit stop and the yellow came out as soon as I pulled in the pit road and went a lap down. So I'm like, that's great, But then the finish to pretty much just have a win handed over. I didn't win that race. It fell in my lap, but. It was a fun race because after they got my lap back, I restarted 24th and was able to work back up to, I think, about 5th place with the on that last round of pit stop. So, I mean, I worked for that. I was happy with the top 10 at that point, but to get a win, at lap 50, if you would ask me if that was going to happen, I'd have said you were nuts. So,
yeah, definitely interesting. When you have to fight back, and you work your tail off, for those spots, and a little bit of luck goes a long way. And sometimes it's probably, even though the win was maybe gifted to you, you say, but if you wouldn't have ran the race you did, put in the hard work to get back up from that 24th over a lap down and put yourself in that situation, you wouldn't have been here. So, you got to give yourself a little bit of credit, of being able to put yourself in a situation to, if something like, happens, you walk away the winner. So, from CRN, of course, it was an awesome drive, an awesome time watching that number 21 out there, and work your way up to the front. So we want to say congratulations, and we also want to give you some time for any shouts you might have in that number 21 all-tell machine.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. You guys do a hell of a job with the broadcasting, and then VBR. I mean, it's a damn good league, and I enjoy racing with them every week. So, look forward to going in here the next week, and we'll see what next week brings.
Definitely be looking forward to seeing that 21 back out front yet again, and maybe possibly get another win here. So season just starting, and it's getting pretty crowded up front with the Roberts taking the wins. So let's make sure that Robert Kahn is out in front for all of them, and we'll see which Robert will be the most victorious, I guess. So again, congratulations on the win here tonight, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
All right, thank you guys, much appreciated.
That is your winner here tonight, the 21 of Robert Kahn. Heck of a finish here, and certainly a little bit of short track action coming there to the end. I don't know if it was a bump and run gone wrong, or if it was just a deep drive there by Paleshi getting into the 41 of Dalton Kilroe. But I mean, Kilroe certainly showed the speed that got him the championship last year. It's just a matter of time until he ends up grabbing that first win, and never know, maybe it comes next week as we head over to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and 110 laps on tap there. After that, we'll go to Nashville Super Speedway for another 110 laps there on April 10th. But you have to tune in and check those out here on CRN. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer. For myself and Jimmy here at the Richmond Raceway, we'll see you at the track.
Peace.